Hey everyone, and welcome back to today's Explainer. We are diving headfirst into traditional Chinese medicine today, specifically focusing on its completely fascinating take on our internal organs. We're going to demystify the yin organs, which is this really intricate perspective that totally shifts how we think about the intersection of our biology, our emotions, and our energy.
Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start by looking through a different medical lens, map out the Zang-Fu organ system, dive deep into the yin organ vaults, meet the 5 yin organs themselves, and finally, look at how they all create harmony in the network. Let's get right to it.
Starting off with Part 1, a different medical lens. So when you hear the word heart or lungs, what pops into your head? You're probably picturing the standard Western medical view, right? You know, the literal physical beating muscle or those anatomical airbags filling with oxygen. It's a focus strictly on the material side of things, the nuts and bolts of anatomy and physiology. But Chinese medicine, it takes a vastly different approach. In TCM, an organ is not just a chunk of tissue. It's an incredibly complex energetic system. We're talking about a multi-layered hub that weaves together your physical body with your mental, emotional, and even spiritual states. It's all based on the acute observation of functional relationships. So we aren't just looking at a mechanical pump or an air filter here, we are looking at dynamic life force centers deeply intertwined with exactly who we are.
Moving on to Part 2, the Zang-Fu organ system.
Okay, so the Zang-Fu system basically divides our organs into 2 main teams. First up, we have the yang organs, known as Fu. Think of these as the hollow, highly functional transit systems like your stomach or your intestines. Their whole gig is moving things along. They're constantly filling up and emptying out. But then, on the flip side, we have the yin organs, known as Zang, or the viscera, and these are the absolute stars of our explainer today. Unlike those hollow transit routes, the yin viscera are solid, structural organs. They aren't highways. They are essentially highly secure vaults. Their primary role is to transform and, most importantly, store our vital essence.
To put the yang organs into perspective, the source material actually calls them the body's seat of government or administration center. Imagine a super busy administrative building. It's buzzing with activity, constantly taking in, sorting, digesting, and shipping out food and water. They grab the useful stuff and they kick out the waste. Because they are literally always in motion, they're characterized by having excess energy, but they are never actually fully packed.
All right, Part 3, the yin organ vaults. So let's zoom in on these yin viscera, formerly known in TCM as Wu Xiang. These are structural systems defined as being viscous to store, meaning they are the dominant functional pillars in TCM holistic physiology. But what exactly are they locking away in these vaults? Well, they store your literal life force. They transform and hold on to your vital essence, which is called Jing, along with your qi, blood, and body fluids. And here is the really wild part. They also store the spirit, or Jing Shen. Remember that mind-body-spirit connection we talked about a minute ago? This is it in action. These physical, structural organs are literally holding on to the mental and spiritual essence of who you are.
There's this fantastic phrase used to describe this dynamic: full but not in excess. Think about it. While the yang organs are just constantly filling and dumping food and waste, the yin viscera are totally different. They take the absolute purest, most refined substances, the good stuff successfully extracted by the yang organs, and they store it. Because they aren't dealing with raw, unrefined waste products, they remain these pristine, perfectly balanced storage vaults. They are always completely full of your vital essence, but they are never overloaded or in excess.
Which brings us to Part 4, meet the 5 yin organs.
So, who actually makes up this incredibly important VIP list of storage vaults? Let's map out these specific yin viscera and check out their unique and sometimes totally unexpected functions. First up, the heart. Sure, it governs blood circulation, but profoundly, TCM says it also houses the mind. Then we have the lungs, regulating respiration and actually controlling the flow of qi everywhere in your body. Next is the spleen. Now, Western medicine often glosses over the spleen, but here, the spleen is a heavyweight. It governs digestion and transforms your food into qi and blood. Then, the kidneys. They handle water metabolism, sure, but they are viewed as the absolute root of life. They store your core essence, your jing, and govern reproduction. Fifth is the liver, regulating the smooth flow of qi and blood, storing blood, and get this, controlling your emotions. And finally, there's a 6th associated player, the pericardium, acting as the heart's protector, regulating blood flow, and governing mental activities.
Let's actually take a quick detour and put the liver under a microscope just to show you how deep this connectivity really goes. In TCM, the liver is absolutely not just a biological filter for toxins. Energetically, it's tied to the wood element and yang energy. Emotionally, it is directly hooked up to the feeling of anger. When it comes to your senses, it's actually linked to your eyesight. And physically, stretching way beyond the organ itself, it connects to your body's tendons and ligaments. It's a perfect example of how a single yin organ is intricately woven into your feelings, your senses, and your physical tissues.
And finally, Part 5, Harmony in the Network.
Obviously, none of these organs are just chilling in a vacuum. The solid yin storage vaults and the hollow yang transit centers are constantly talking to each other. They interact dynamically across your body's entire energetic network through channels called meridians, which is where your qi flows. And why does this matter to us? Well, because when things get out of whack, when there's an imbalance in these organs, it doesn't just show up as an isolated physical ache. Because of this massive, interconnected web, a roadblock in your qi or blood can absolutely manifest as physical symptoms, yes, but it can also trigger really profound emotional disturbances or even bizarre changes in how your senses perceive the world. Literally everything is linked.
Which leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to chew on. Could your random physical symptoms actually be rooted in emotional or energetic imbalances? I mean, if the heart literally houses the mind, and the liver is at the control board for anger, this entire framework challenges us to completely rethink the signals our bodies are sending us every single day. By looking through the lens of the yin viscera, we start to realize that true health is really about finding harmony across our physical, emotional, and energetic networks. All right, that wraps up our explainer for today. I really hope this deep dive sparked your curiosity to learn a bit more about the incredible interconnected network inside your own body. See you next time.